Cundy, we watched all the games, the Premier League games. You wasn't happy with the Rico Lewis sending off.
No, and I think the time has come for, if there's going to be such a massive decision, red cards can be reviewed by VAR, straight reds. Second yellow cards cannot be reviewed, which is an absolute, it's the law is an ass.
It changes the game.
The law is an ass. If you really want, I don't fully understand what the difference would be in terms of what the decision is for that game. There is nothing to choose between the two. A second yellow changes the game. A straight red changes the game, right? So you can review a straight red. You've seen that happen.
Yeah.
There was a second yellow a couple of weeks ago. I can't remember which one it was. It was harsh. But because you can't review it, you have to go with the on-field decision. Rico Lewis's yellow card today is an absolute disgrace. An absolute disgrace. There is no way on this earth it's even a foul, let alone a second yellow, right?
Yeah, I mean, look, in the moment, it looks like a foul.
Rob Jones gives it as a second yellow.
Yeah.
It's fine. He makes mistakes.
But,
Fine.
of course. But when you watch it back, actually, it's not. Because I was watching a game live and you go, oh, yeah, that looks like
You can see why he's give it,
like
right?
You can see why he's give it. But when you watch it back, actually, the Crystal Palace player, I don't know who it was, fouled Rico Lewis.
When he wins the ball and then he steps on Rico Lewis's foot, if you're going to give any decision, you give it to Palace. And the truth is...
Was it in the box?
It's a non-decision. It's a non-decision for me. The referee has seen the Palace... I can't remember who it was, went down. But anyway, it's irrelevant. The Rico Lewis second yellow...
It was Chalobah, I think.
Right? It's so bad. It's such a bad call. And what you find yourself in now, you find yourself in a position where for the last 20 minutes of the game, Man City are down to 10 men. But they now don't have Rico Lewis to choose. Right? It's the second yellow, so he misses the next game. That, to me, makes the law an ass. Do it. Change it.
Yeah, I think they will, though.
Let them review it.
I think they will. I think that's change is going to happen.
Well, why are we having this conversation?
Well, because it hasn't happened yet.
Right. Why hasn't happened?
Because they haven't done it yet.
Should have done it. Should have done it 2 years ago, Jay. 3 years ago.
No, but, rules change. Let's go to Rob, though. He's a Villa fan. All right, Rob?
All right, Rob.
Hello, lads. How you doing?
Yeah,
Right,
good,
mate,
Rob. You?
Up the Villa.
Yeah, not too bad, thanks. Couple of things. I was going to just pick up the point about second yellows and reviewing those.
Go
on. But before I come on to that, just got back, or just getting home from Villa Park and listening to you score, you Villa fan on just before the break. And the Watkins and Duran dilemma, because it is a bit of a dilemma. I mean, the thing is that if Duran got the opportunities that Watkins got in a game, he'd be scoring twice as many goals as Watkins does. There's no doubt about that. Watkins, though, offers so much more than just goals. And that's what Duran needs to do as well, if he's going to take Watkins' place. So really it's a matter of how does Emery fit them both into the same side?
No, but he's tried that and it doesn't really work, does it? When I've watched it,
it
doesn't seem to fit.
It doesn't at the moment, but I suppose it just depends on how they actually are played. And yes, it did cross my mind, should Watkins go out a little bit left and leave the area free for Duran. That's a conundrum for Emery to sort out.
Yeah.
I mean, the other thing that went through my mind is that as I was watching the game today, I was thinking, it feels as if we've got a couple of players missing. Now, we've got Onana and Ramsey out at the moment, right? But the two that I think we're missing are the ones we had to sell in the summer, Louise and Diaby. You know? Your point about financial fair play earlier on as well, that just hits home as far as we're concerned, because that's the reason those two guys went.
Correct.
Right? For financial fair play. So it doesn't seem right when you've got teams like Newcastle and the Villa who could really push on if the playing field was really level, if it was truly level. But, everybody has to contend with that at the end of the day, apart from the ones who are already enjoying the fruits of those rules.
Yeah.
Been in play for so long.
Rob, did you phone us up about the yellow card or something you wanted to talk about?
Yeah. What I was going to say was, what Jason's saying is that he thinks that a second yellow should be reviewed, particularly if it's a soft yellow, because that's where it seems detrimental. The problem is, in that, you'd have to actually review virtually every yellow card. Because what if the soft yellow was the first one, not the second one?
No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying if it leads to a red, that one has to be contested. The one that leads to a red. The first one, soft yellows happen all the time. Yeah. If you're on a yellow card as a player, you know any challenge you make, if you mistime it, there's a potential you're going to give the referee a decision to make. If he makes that decision and decides it's a second yellow which leads to a red, that yellow card has to be reviewed. You can't review the first. That's not what I'm saying. I'm not saying that. I'm saying that...
The thing is, it's just as instrumental.
No, but it might be just as instrumental, but you can't be doing that. That's probably why you can't review a yellow for the reason you just highlighted.
Yeah.
You can't be reviewing yellow cards because, I mean, there was a game that Chelsea played against Bournemouth, about 2 months ago. I think there was like 15 yellow cards. That can't happen. It can't. No. But if it leads to a second, if a second yellow, if you've got a soft yellow for the first, and your second yellow is a stonewall yellow card, that's tough. That's tough. Or vice versa. But if it turns out that the second yellow is soft, I think then you've got to review that.
But then you could have the situation in the same game where one player gets a soft yellow first time round, first one, and the second one is a solid yellow.
Yep. But the second one's more important than the first. The second one is more important. Second one has more impact on the game than the first.
But
it does.
Is the same.
Factually, it does. Don't get booked. Once you're on a yellow, you know as a player, you've got to keep your nose clean. You've got to make sure you're whiter than white. And do you know what also? You've got a bench now in the modern game that if a manager feels the ref might give a second yellow to a certain player, we've seen it, get the player off. You can do that from the bench.
The manager should be kept.
I think the second yellow, I think if it leads to a red, you should be able to review it. If Rob Jones sees that second yellow, he doesn't give it. Yeah. I promise you.
Yeah, I haven't seen that.
No, he doesn't give it. He doesn't give it. It's a terrible decision. Yeah.
All right, Rob, listen, mate, top man, thanks for your call. I want to go to David. He's a Portsmouth fan. All right, Dave?
All right, Dave-o.
Yeah, you're right, chaps. How you doing?
Play up, Pompey!
Yeah, up the Blues.
Chelsea.
Right.
Go on, Dave-o.
Go on, big result that today, mate. Needed. You're still in the bottom three, but looking closer to getting out of it.
Yeah, look, you know what? Today was thoroughly deserved. You know, Bristol City, good side. They just come off the back of beating Plymouth 4-0. But, it was a good win. I mean, we've had such a tough start to the Championship. I mean, we had Leeds away, Luton, Middlesbrough, Sunderland, West Brom. It couldn't have got any harder for us coming up from League One. And League One and League Two, those teams can beat, you can all beat each other whilst you're down there. They're so hard to get out of those leagues.
Yeah.
But now we're in the Championship. I think we've come off the bottom. I know we're still second to bottom, but I think it's just going to be our home form that will keep us up this year. We've had the last two games got postponed. All the fans that travelled up to Blackburn, got called off at the last minute. We had the
look, you've played 17, but other teams have played 19, and you win them games in hand. You go above 4 or 5 at a side, so you can easily get yourselves out of it with some decent results in the games that you got postponed. So hopefully we can see you stay in the league. I mean, that is the ambition, right? Just stay in the league.
Yeah, I think it's got to be the first season. I mean, the Championship this year. I mean, it's obviously one of the hardest divisions anyway. But I mean, literally any team is beating any team every week. I mean, Middlesbrough win and then they lose the next week. And I just really think our home form will keep us up this season. And then next season, if we can get some players in and build, and then you go from there really. But. Yeah. Well, we thoroughly deserved today and 3 points, and I think we'll be all right.
Yeah, happy for the boys today. Loved it down there. Pompey, great club, great fans. So hopefully they get themselves out of it.
The Sports Bar with Jamie O'Hara and Jason Cundy. Monday to Thursday nights from 10 on AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.